Alrighty, we're back. We got two cameras now. Isn't that good? Two cameras are good. So, what we're going to end up doing is we got to set up our tablet here. So we have kind of like a monitor. For those that are new, welcome to The Varied Life. I'm Steve, the retired hobby tech guy, and today we're going to be painting this little dude right here. But I need to plug this in. I need to turn the volume off, and this will allow us to see comments. So tighten that up. We should be good to go. And so now, as the joys of live streaming. So what we're going to end up doing now is I can actually see the layout of what's going on and see if this works out. So yeah, I think we're good. Retired hobby tech guy, American expat in Korea, painting the dude. We are painting the dude. With that, we've been painting some other stuff, and specifically we've been using the Army Painter Speed Paint 2.0. Not the 1.0, but the 2.0. 2.0. And we have got some really good results. And so if we take a look at this guy here, this is a World of Warcraft troll, orc, and hopefully that you all be able to see this. I'm still trying to get my spatial X, Y, and Z coordinates good, but we ended up doing this guy, and he turned out really, really well. This took 4.5 hours, a lot of details, but yeah, he killed it. So really, really proud of that. And so what we're gonna end up doing here is we're going to continue on with this guy here. So this is the Warhammer dude, and I'm not sure what his name is, but this was a resin print that I did long time ago. And in the last video, we ended up painting all of this stuff. So we did the back, we did some lead belcher, we did the poppy red with the speed paints. This color is not a speed paint, that is actually mummy robe from the Army Painter. And then we did some other stuff. We did some gold, we did some skeleton bone, which came out really nice. And then we did some Talos bronze with the speed paints. So we got that going on. And now I did a little bit up on here, and I forgot to press record. So I've done another coat on the cape, which is highly polygonal, if that's a word. And I put some on there, and I think I'm going to change that to brown. So his loincloth is going to be brown, so we can get some more earth colors in there. And then we'll have to do something with the stones and everything. We'll have to bring in some brown and stuff like that. So what we're going to end up doing here, we're going to take a swig of our beverage. And we're going to jump into this. Cool thing about painting, there is no right or wrong answer. You do it, you learn it. If you like it, great. If you don't, then you just paint over it. you can always paint over it. So, one more thing. I'm gonna have to get my fan. So we'll get a little bit. Get a little bit of air going on because it's still a little hot here in Korea. Okay, let's see. How shall we attack this? Well, like I said, we ended up doing this. We'll save the cape for some washes, so that should be something that we'll do a little bit later on. So we'll have that going for us. So I think what we can end up doing is we can try out some of this brown and see what type of brown that we got on here. Did have that other color on there. Didn't really flip my wig if I had a wig. So we're going to replace that with a brown. Let's see. We got some different colors of brown. We have a dusk red, that's not going to work because that's not brown. We got fire drake. Fire drake is a good color. There's that, and then we have satchel brown, which is a brown. So if you can see those, you can end up seeing that we can go really, really dark, or we can kind of go light. And since we do have some white on there, the mummy robe on there, let's go for the satchel brown and see how that turns out. Shake, shake, shake. And what kind of paintbrush are we going to use? I think we can use this guy here. And what I have been doing is, last video I used the palette, the supplied palette for a little bit, especially with the Army regular paints. But with these, for the most part, all I've been doing is just kind of put a drop on there, and we just ran with it. I don't know if that's a thing, but let's see how this, I think we got it going. Let's see how this brown turns out. Oh, I think that could turn out good. There's a little loincloth action there. So, yeah, I could do kind of good. Yeah, I think that'll be nice. So we need just a tad more. And I've got some areas in there that really kind of want to get darker. So we can kind of see how this goes. So I think that'll come out good. And by the time that dries, I think that'll be all right. We got some on the back because I actually painted the place where probably no one will ever look. Except for us. We will be the only ones that know. So, I think that'll turn out pretty good. So we got some brown in there. That'll help bring in some colors because we do have the red, the skeleton bone, the brown will come in. That'll be a complementary color. And then we got kind of the bronze on the wolf's heads, the Talos bronze. And we'll have some type of brownish stuff on the rocks and stuff. All we did with this was dry brush it. So yeah, a lot of details on here. And again, the speed paints are really nice, and especially if your dry brushing is good, or your zenithal with an airbrush, you can do the same thing. And just where the light hits the model, and that will project and be the lightest parts on the model. And then underneath where the shadows and stuff like that, what we'll end up with is obviously shadow areas. So with the speed paints are almost acting like a, I guess you could say a wash, and so that color shines through. And so kind of like on this guy here, we did this zenithal with an airbrush. So we kind of shot down from this angle and just kind of went all around. But if we tilt it up, we've got a lot of dark areas, and we've got some gradient from light to dark, you know, especially under the areas of where you would expect, you know, underneath the face, you know, places like here. So that gradient from light to dark will give us the shadows and the gradient with the speed paints. So yeah, it just makes life so much easier. So, painting Warcraft? No, not doing Warcraft. Today we're doing the, this was the World of Warcraft one that we did the other day. and this took 4.5 hours, and that came out pretty nice. So we did that, and this one, Death 87, is the Warhammer dude. So yeah, and this is not speed paint, this is the army painter mummy robes, but everything else on here, except for the skeleton bone, is the speed paints. So we did some dry brushing on here, got the details to come out, and boom, the speed paints are doing wonderful. So I'm really enjoying it. Anyway, Death 87, thank you for coming on to the channel. I appreciate that. And I wish the chat box was bigger. I don't know, can we do that? No, I think that's just, no, I think that's just it. It's just gonna be small. Don't tell anybody. So anyway, we just finished up with the brown on there. I think that's gonna come out pretty good. And now we can start going into some of the other colors. The other brown that we could end up doing is this bear's head that is on his shoulder as well. So that would kind of tie in the brown from his loincloth up to there. And we could use the exact same color, which was satchel brown. Or we could do the fire drake, but that's kind of a light. I think the satchel brown is the way to go. I don't want to overthink this too much. Dusk red, that probably won't work. Fire drake, that's tempting. Fire drake is really tempting because it is a very nice color. And you can get it kind of dark, but again, it's not going to be, I think the brown is going to be, it'll be more recognizable as a bear. But I love the fire drake. The fire drake color comes out, oh, so nice. And the gradients when you have the zenithal or the dry brush, man, you can get some really good shading on that. So another cool stuff. So yeah, let's just go ahead and we shall do, is that it? Yeah, that's it. We will do more of the brown stuff. The satchel brown, we'll do that bear's head on there. I think that'll come out. The other thing, ooh, right up here, we've got all these feathers. And we got feathers and stuff like that down like that. That's where the fire drake needs to go. Yeah, the fire drake it'll be the bomb. But right now, let's just do the bear's head. And we can get this going on. And the other thing I like about the speed paints is that they get into the nooks and crannies really nicely. And it works out just nice. See how this goes. Yeah, it's going to come out nice. I think we need a little bit more. Trying to make sure I can get at least some of where y'all can see it. Yeah, I think those feathers will do that in the fire drake color, which will really, it's a different color scheme, but I think it'll come out really nice. And especially for those feathers, which will be an interesting little thing to do. And seeing how those will work out. it's going to be a dark brown. But I think as soon as that dries, I think we'll be all right. Again, it's just going to be some different colors in there. And the fire drake is going to come in there real well. So that's what we got there. So we got some good contrast between the bronze and the brown. I think this will work out well. So yeah, nothing too crazy. I think that'll be good. And all these little details in here, that is going to be the interesting thing, because we got his beard, his hair, his face, all of that is going to be really interesting to do. And the feathers, which I think we can do, maybe we can do a couple of different things with those feathers. But let's just start off with the fire drake. And again, you can see the colors on that and how, you know, the more you put on, it just really comes out with a really cool looking shade. So it's going to be good. And this is not lore accurate. Okay, I'm going to tell you that right now. So if you're a die-hard Warhammer fan, yeah. I mean, I think they're cool and everything, but I'm not a die-hard guy on that aspect. So okay, so let's see if we can get some of this little. Yeah, we'll get some different colors on there with this fire drake, which will be nice. Just do that back end in there too. So I'm not sure what color that was supposed to be, but that's what will make it. Also printing out, I'm printing out myself. Oh yeah, that fire drake's gonna be great. I need to do some red in there too. Yeah, notice how that fire drake comes out pretty nicely, and we can get some, yeah, that'll be good. We like the fire drake. And we can actually do some of that on some of the other areas as well. So like down here, because it's got some feathering action. And kind of draw in and see how that goes. So that'll work out good. Just a little bit more. And then on his part up here, I think we can get in and throw in a little bit of that is the red, and that's part of his chest plate. So I can't do any there. Where else can we put some of this stuff? Oh yeah, the back. We forgot about it. So we've got all this feather action back here. Let's kind of load that up in there. Like I said, this guy was resin printed a long time ago. It's before I got into 3D printing. Well, I did resin printing, it is 3D printing. But I downloaded this guy on like the Colts page, Colts 3D page. And that was way before I even got the printer. 'Cause I was just kind of excited. I was like, hey, kind of saw the writing on the wall. It was like, yeah, there's going to be people, there's going to be copyright problems. And so, yeah, I'm going to download a bunch of free stuff. And that's what I ended up doing. So, did I get that little piece? Yeah. So, yeah, okay, that'll come out good. Oh, we got a little piece there. Let's see, anywhere else we could put this fire drake? I don't think so. I think we're good with the fire drake. But notice how that fire drake comes in, and it just got a real nice color to it. Of course, with the dry brush, you can see the highlights on there, kind of get contrast between the feathers and the, and we might even, with the feathers, we might even go in with a little bit of a dry brush to try to get some highlights on there. So, and the same thing with the bear's head. We can do a little bit of dry brushing and get some of those details to pop a little bit. And of course, we'll have to paint his nose black. And yeah, that should be interesting. So, we have a piece there. So yeah, I think that turned out good. Some of the other things, we need to come back and we need to do some red because we got the red around the collar. Because I forgot that. We could probably throw some black on there as well. Because on the back, you've got like his collar and then down around the sides. And in the back, he's going to need some black in there. I think, or darkish color, which is probably going to be the grim dark, I think they call it. Grim black. So we'll throw some of that in there. I mean, you wouldn't really notice it if this was sitting. You might see it a little bit, but we'll just throw a little bit in there and see what happens. Let's see if we can get that in there without screwing anything up. Touching the head or some of the other stuff. Just to kind of get that in there. And I think we're good. Yep. Now there are some really tiny details in red that we can do, and there's a tiny bit of gold of where his Aquila is at. It's going to be a pain in the butt. but just throw just like a little bit of some of these little areas in here where it's going to be dark anyway, that we can throw that in there. Is that a, I wonder if that's a support. Might be a support, I'm not sure. Yep, there's a support. So I'll make getting that, there we go. Getting that little bit of red in there, make that a little bit easier. So that means we're going to go back to our poppy red, and we're going to need the small brush, which is, that is going to be pretty small. I think what we can end up using is this one. Thing about small brushes is that the paint or whatever you have on there is going to dry really quick. So we need to get this on there. Like so. And that little tiny piece right in there. And we did that. And we've got the other piece that needs just a tad more. Then we've got these other little places in here. That are just kind of hiding. And as I'm looking at it, you wouldn't notice it from here, but if I go like this, I can see it. So we're just going to go ahead and hit it. No, I don't have to, but I'm going to anyway. So, yeah. Just got to deal with it. And that little piece there, that little one there. And we can throw a little bit in there, but that's going to be kind of dark, so I don't really care that much. And then this right there. And then we're going to have to go over that red with our gold. Because we got a tiny, just a super tiny bit of this little spot. There we go. So I think we are good. And you got to be careful with the speed paints, because when you paint them on, you can reactivate it by putting another layer on there. So I'm not sure how much, because I haven't really run into that too much. But I have noticed that if you have, I haven't done a lot of blending. It's just been the speed paints and boom. But putting multiple coats on, I see that it kind of reactivates itself. So keep that in mind. So I think that turned out, you got those little tiny areas there. we're starting to run out of smaller stuff. So what we can end up doing, this is the lead belcher from Citadel. I know, heresy. But we use the lead belcher. I really like that color, and we're probably going to distress that a little bit. But for the chains, I think we'll do those in silver. So I just want to make sure I get this clean. Dropping paintbrushes. I made a paintbrush holder, and yeah, I'm not using it that much. So they just all kind of end up, that's not true. I mean, I do use it. But it would probably work better if I put these things, come on, cleaned up my desk and did some more stuff here. But you can check that out on, actually on the page for Creality Cloud, I think it is. Look under the Varied Life, and you'll see my page, and you can find a bunch of stuff. I made some stuff on Tinkercad, and little things, like the paintbrush holder, which turned out really nice, actually. And then some other items, but you can go check those out. I don't have them in the description box, but after the video's over, I'll add that to it. So with that, I think we're going to move on to some silver. So we're going to use the silver, which is broadsword silver, in the speed paint set. It was the mega set. So it's like 50 or 60 paints. I think it's 50. So it's 46 paints, 3 metallics, and what is this one here? The medium, the speed paint medium. So I think this should turn out pretty good. So we'll start doing these chains, and then we'll go back to the Retributor armor from Citadel, and we'll do some gold, or we could even do the gold. Yeah, let's do the metallic, the hoplite gold on the rivets on his shoulder piece after we do these chains. So I think that'll work. And since we've got a decent number of chains, we will check this out. Hey, we got somebody else that showed up. Yeah, you're right in time. What we're doing is we're painting the Warhammer dude, and this is, got him off the Colts 3D page. So with the speed paints, a little bit of a dry brushing over black, and then we just started at it with the speed paints, and yeah, we're rocking it. So now we're going to end up doing some chains, which hopefully this chain or silver will look pretty good. And I just want to put a little bit here and see how, yeah, I think that'll work. See how that will look. And we're just going to start at it at his belt. Kind of a hard color to see. Nice model. Oh, thank you. Yeah. Like I said, I got it on the Colts 3D page. I can't remember the name because it was so long ago, and I don't even know if it's still there. But I had downloaded a number of prints before I even got my resin printer, because I kind of figured that we would run into these problems, you know, copyright infringement, intellectual property, all of that stuff, and surely we did. So I've got a number of models that have been taken down over the years, and especially recently with Games Workshop, have just been really putting the screws to people in content, model makers and stuff like that. Really just pushing it to them, taking them to court and all that stuff. And it's just like, personally, I think, let the people make this stuff, unless it's in, bad copyright, like an exact copy. But I would just go ahead and let them do it, because that is your fan base. But, oh well, they're a big multinational company now. So, conglomerate, shareholders, the whole 9 yards. And let's just go ahead and we'll hit that with silver. We'll see how that turns out. If it doesn't turn out good, we can always go back with the gold. And we can hit it with the gold, and in fact the rivet, that big rivet right there. Your comment is really small, so this is something they are corporate now. Yep, yes they are. They're major corporate. Huge corporate. So shareholders, but there's a huge difference. Look at Star Wars. Of course, recently Star Wars hasn't been doing too good, but before, and you still have fan art. You still have people that are writing novels and stories and characters and all of that stuff. And it doesn't seem to be a problem. So, and the fan base just grew and grew and grew because of that. Sure, George Lucas probably could have taken everybody to court. Hey, don't use my stuff, shame on you, or whatever. But by not doing that, it just really expanded the universe exponentially. And I think it was a good thing that he didn't go that route. So, but Games Workshop decided to go a different route. We've got these little pendants on there too that are, I'll probably do those in gold as well so we can get a little bit of an accent. But I don't know. Just me. I grew up in a different era. But yeah, imagine if George Lucas just started suing everybody for the Star Wars infringement. So, most people sitting in the setting because lore, if they F this up, then most of them go away. Yeah. That chain is, that's all right. It's not too bad. And I'm wondering what to do with this here. If I should do this with gold, so you got the bones that are sticking out, and do I do these cords in gold? I mean, that would look kind of hot. I don't want to do it in silver, but it is, dang it, there is some, I need to do some red in there. Seriously? Tiny, tiny red. Holy crow. That's going to be amazingly hard. Some other areas we could do silver. I think we could do like these teeth right here. We could do some silver on those. and see how that turns out. Okay, it's not bad. And then we can always go back and we can add some rust, or, oh, we could add some blood. Blood would be good. I haven't done really much with the blood on this kit, so let's go ahead and we'll do that. Definitely want to bloody up his axe here. These little spikes on the end. So yeah, we're going to do some blood action. And I think I saw a video where a dude was adding blood effects, and he used like a toothbrush. He had the blood on it, or the paint, and then flicked the brush so it kind of spattered onto the model. And I think that'd look pretty cool. So yeah, well, a little bit of detail. With those there, probably do some gold, a couple of gold dots on there, and we should be good. But I need to come back with that, a touch of red for that little thing where all those bones are tied. So we'll see how that goes. So we shall do a touch of red. So go back to our poppy. Hi, poppy. And that is going to be an interesting little area to get into. Walt, hey, welcome Walt, says, I like pre-heresy color scheme from this chapter. What are some of the colors on that? Because, like I said, I'm not a real big Warhammer person. I just think they look cool. And so there's that. But I'm not really well versed in the color schemes of these guys. So if you want to school me on that, put down like the colors and stuff. I'd like to know what colors. I mean, I've looked them up online and stuff, and I've painted some minis, you know, with red and blue, green, and some different colors, but not like lore accurate, you know, like salamander or whatever. So, but they do have some cool looking color schemes, I have to admit. I think it's really cool. So, he is from the Space Wolves. Yeah, looks cool. I like him. So, and one of these days, I mean, I'd like to try playing Warhammer, but being here in Korea, it's just, I don't know. There's not as many people here as in the United States. I'm definitely digging the speed paints though. Yep, Space Vikings. Yeah, Space Vikings. And I think we're almost good on this, gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen. It's good enough. So the cord's on there. Let's see how that goes. I'm not sure what color I'm going to do those. The gold could be pretty good. Silver, we're done with that. I had my workout today. Chest, back, and legs. So I'm feeling it. I pushed it a little bit too much today. So, let's see. So what else can we move on to? We can do that hoplite gold on the little trinkets that are on there. That's what we're going to do. So, we got that going on. So trinkets, let's do some trinkets. And this hoplite gold turns out pretty good too. It turns out nice. Yep, that'll work. That will work. On these small brushes, man, that stuff dries quick. Get that edge a little bit. So yeah, we got those trinkets coming in there good. But yeah, I only started painting it a couple of years ago. And prior to that, the last time I painted before that, I was like 10 or 11 years old. So, big break. And even then, the painting was, you know, the Jeep is green, the Jet is gray, you know, it wasn't like 10 years old. I was just, you know, not real good on anything. So yeah, we got those. We got some on his chain around his waist. Well, it says in lore they have gray, gold, and red color scheme. Okay, so I'm not too far off. Not too far off. That's good. I'm really looking forward to the Henry Cavill doing the Warhammer stuff. I hope he nails that out of the park. Yeah, I think we're good there. And we have trinkets on the back. Yeah, I'm really, really holding high hopes for that. I hope Games Workshop corporate doesn't make them do stupid stuff. So kind of waiting patiently for that. Let's see how that goes. So yeah, really kind of looking forward to that. Almost need like just a tiny bit bigger brush. That would be nice. Good. And this model came out really nice. I was kind of surprised. It's printed with Jamhe water washable resin, so it's kind of delicate. I mean, I wouldn't say delicate, but once I paint this, it's going on the shelf. It's that kind of delicate. I definitely wouldn't want to use it on a tabletop game and constantly moving stuff around. Just a tad more. Just a wee bit more. There, we've got them. I think we're good to go on that. I'm wondering if I'm thinking about doing this hoplite gold on those cords up there. I think that could look good. And we're still gonna need the super small brush. Do I have something a little bigger? Yeah, kind of. Oh, it's the Army Painter Speed Paint brush. I don't like that. It's just a weird, and then this one came with it too. This is for base coating. I don't know. It's just a weird feel to it. It's like it's really, really stiff. Joey Toy made nice stuff, but they have action figures. Joey Toy. It sounds familiar for some reason. Sounds familiar. Do we got a smaller, a little bit bigger? Yeah, it's too big. That's what she said. How about this one? I think that'll work. Yeah, there's some, I've seen some like Instagram and, well, it says, have one, I don't have talent for painting. I didn't either. And if I was gonna recommend anything, I'd recommend the speed paints, because, and if you can get your dry brushing down, or the zenithal with an airbrush, which is not too hard to do, you can get some pretty impressive results. I'm impressed with them anyway. So, yeah, we're gonna do those gold hoozy things up top. We'll do the gold cords. But yeah, the Joey Toy and Bandai, they've got, I don't know if they have those specific models, Warhammer, but some of their stuff, and some other companies, I can't remember what it was. I've seen some of those models that are, yeah, already done and everything, very impressive. It's just like, wow. Yeah, I think this will work. So we'll just do this side, and then we'll go to the front and do that. I gotta be careful. But yeah, I ended up retiring, and I hadn't done anything artistic or anything for Lord knows how long, because I was busy being an adult. And so when I retired early and we came out here, I needed something to do besides going to the gym all the time. So yeah, I saw some Warhammer figures, and I was like, hey, kind of remind me of my time in the military, blowing stuff up. I was like, hey, I could do that. And that's what got me started. So, yeah. And I didn't know how to water down my paints, but watched a ton of YouTube videos. Way too many YouTube videos. And then just kind of went at it. And just, there's so many great painters out there. It's absolutely insane on what these people can do. But I was like, you know what? I'll just pick like one technique, and I'll just work on that. And yeah, just a little bit at a time. And it worked out good so far. So. I think I can do the top. It says, I work only 20 years, so I'll have to wait a bit for retirement. You military people retire faster. I still had to work. I was enlisted, so I retired at 38, but I didn't have enough money to retire. So, but, you know, looking back, I really wish that I had gotten into painting or miniatures or gaming or something like that earlier on. I was brainwashed. That's what it was. I was brainwashed not to do that adult, children's stuff or the kids' stuff. You're an adult now. So all those wasted years, I could have been having fun. And it would have been a good stress relief too, I think. It would have been good. Not say that I didn't do anything. I mean, I played a lot of video games, but I think I think it would have been better if I got into gaming early on, because that would have provided more of a social life. So I think that would have been good overall, but you know, and way back in the day, and late 70s, I remember playing Dungeons and Dragons. I think it was 1980 actually, is when I started playing Dungeons and Dragons. So there was that. I think it turned out good. Not bad, not bad. I did retire early though. I retired at 53, 54. I've been here just over 2.5 years here in Korea, and before that we spent a year on Oahu, and yeah, it was like, gonna retire early. And it worked out good. I enjoyed it. But yeah, the military pension does help. I'm not gonna lie. Every little bit helps. Oh, I forgot to do that little 2 things where the silver chains are hanging. And retiring overseas allowed us to retire early. So that was another big draw for that. So yeah, turns out good. And dare say we can go through, and I think we could do some dots on the rivets with some gold. But I think what I want to do is use some Retributor armor from Citadel paints. So I think those give a little bit of a different color. Walt says, man, I'd like to retire already. Working in a mine is not a fairy tale. Oh, you work in the mines? Oh, man. That's some hard work. Actually, my grandfather, on my dad's side, he was in West Virginia, and he worked like railroads. He worked in mines, and then he worked some railroads, but a lot of mine work. And we had a lot of family members that worked in the mines. And man, you're right, that is a hard life. Hard knocks life. I have much respect for you, Walt. Much respect. That's some hard work, bro. Appreciate it. But yeah, that overseas retirement, that definitely helped us retire early. So I think we're going to use the palette for this, since we're just going to do some dots on here. So, and we got them on a lot of different places. Just need just a little little touch on there. Gotta remember to breathe. Breathe. Okay, we got that. Walt says mechanical processing of coal. We're responsible for repairing all the machines, welding the cranes, and other such things if necessary. I have a place to escape at the bottom. Those at the bottom don't have it. Ooh. Yeah, I can see. That's, yeah, at least you're in it, but you're not in it like all the time. So you still got to go in it and work. But man, yeah, that's a rough life there, man. But like my grandfather, he was in the mines, and it's like, way back when, and there was like no safety. It was like, yeah, it was really rough on him and some of the older family members and stuff. But they did what they had to do. And so with that, I mean, they provided for their families, they fed, they got the kids in school, or the military, one of the two. And yeah, they said, a little bit of a hard life, but my grandfather never complained. Not that I saw, anyway. And these little dots on here are other little areas. I think I could do a little tiny area. It says those were the times when they even drank. Now there are breathing analyzers, drug tests. Oh yeah. Yeah, it was. Grandfather had some stories, and he partook of beverage as well, doing the job. But back then, that's everybody did it. So it is what it is. But yeah, now you got OSHA, now you got safety regulations and all kinds of stuff. Do that right there. But I mean, OSHA's good. I mean, safety is good. because things definitely got better in that aspect. But it's still a dangerous job. That's for sure. Trying to see if we can get any other. Yeah, we could do some gold. There's one. And the dots, I think I'll save that for silver. These dots, these rivets will do gold. And that one's covered up. Maybe we can do a little bit of a side piece there. This one's gonna turn out nice. I think this is gonna be good. We'll come back and we'll do some silver on some of those. But it's coming in pretty good. Oh, we got the other shoulder. I thought we were almost done. The wife's got dinner cooking. I can smell it. I'm getting hungry. Yeah. So there we go. Definitely got some good colors on this guy. Little accent pieces. Still got some more stuff to do. As far as the scabbard, I think what we could end up doing is some brown, the satchel brown. I could probably do some gold on this since I've got some left over. Will I be painting this guy grimdark? He's kind of a little dark already. I'll do some washes on the skulls and stuff, so that'll make it look a little rough. And then, but the red is so dark. I don't know. I'll probably do some edge highlighting on there. But I think he's almost dark enough as it is. So, I don't know. I think we'll do some edge highlighting. So I don't know how dark we'll go on this. I've got some other ones where, yeah, I like that style. That's for sure. We'll see how this goes. Ooh, that gold is going to come out nice. Nice. Breathe. Remind myself, breathe, breathe. Oh yeah, that'll look nice. Nice, nice. then go back and we can hit the brown for that inside part there. Dinner smells good. Good, good, good. Maybe I'll do the handle gold as well. I think we'll do that. See how much we got left on here. Yeah, we're gonna need a tad bit more. Thought we were done. One more dot, we should be good. Ooh. Let's do that. I think we should be good with, nope. Forgot the whole handle on the other side. Inside the hilt. Little tiny spots. So yeah, I think the hilt of that come out good, and we'll do this in that satchel brown. That'll really make that pop, and contrast with the white back there with the mummy robes. And that should be good. Well, where's the valve? Methane will explode and bye-bye. Yeah. You'll be painting Grimdark. I'm going for a bike ride. My holiday ends on Sunday, and I still need to ride a bike and take advantage of the sunny weekend weather. Keep it up. All right, good work. You too. Thanks for dropping by, Walt. I appreciate that. Checking out the video and like, subscribe. I would appreciate that. And yeah, have a good bike ride, and we'll see you on the next video. Look forward to it, man. Stay safe. Man has got a rough job. Gotta stay safe. And I think, is there anywhere else where we need gold? And I'm not seeing anything now, anyway. Well, I can do a little bit of, we'll just do a little tiny touch there. A little bit there, a little dot there. Already subbed. You are the man. Thank you. Now as exciting as other YouTubers, but you take what you can get, right? Take what you can get. So with that, since Walt is taking off and I'm smelling dinner and it's driving me crazy, I think what we'll end up doing is we'll finish this up right now for this session, and then we'll come back. We'll have to do some other stuff. When we come back, we still got to do his face, the beard. I'm not sure what color we should be using on that, so if you got any ideas, put them in the comment section down below. Maybe I'll have to actually look at some pictures online and see if we can find something and get some ideas. Definitely want to try to stay with some speed paints, and we got some ochre clay colors which might work. I think an ancient honey would be too much. I don't know. Or maybe we should just go, I'm not sure what his beard should be and his hair color. I'm really at a loss. I'm not sure where to go with that. I didn't really think that far ahead. So, yeah. So anyway, that's what we got going on. Finish all this stuff up. We'll get some soap on these things, get them sit for a little bit, and then we'll come back and clean them up, and we'll throw some hair gel on them to get the tips pointed, and yeah, that's what we got going on. So next time we will come back and we will we will do some washes on the skull, so that'll really bring out some details, and that'll kind of darken it up, and also the bones up top, we'll put a dark wash over those, and then the bones in the center of his belly band. We'll do some wash on his cape because that's just way too clean compared to everything else. And then we got to start working on the base, but and a little bit there. You know, we could just maybe I'll do that fire drake, because that fire drake is a really good color, and I don't want to do like brown. Let's do fire drake. So yeah, I lied. We're not leaving. We're going to do the little bit of fire drake, and then we will call it. And so with that, fire drake. This will be the last one. Then I'm going to go eat. So I promise. That's a rough brush. I think I can use this one. Fire drake is a real good color. And for his sword, I think that'll look really nice. For that scabbard. So, do some fire drake. Oh yeah, it's gonna be nice. Need a little bit more. Darken that up a bit. And the color just is really nice. I really like that color. Who would have thought? I would have something like that I'd be talking about colors and saying, hey, I really like fire drake. Didn't know I'd be doing that. Yeah, that's going to come out nice. Tiny little backside, don't we enough? Yeah, I'm going to need just a little bit more. Right back there. The only bad thing with the speed paints is that if you screw up with some colors, I don't know if you can see that, but I got some colors in there that were kind of messed up a little bit, and the model is just kind of, but I got some different color paint on there, and so that's going to shine through a little bit, but don't think it'll be that noticeable. I think we will be all right. So yeah, now we're good. Fire Drake, you never disappoint me. Alrighty, so there it is. That's what we got going on so far. As you can see, we got some good coloring in there. We got some details with the gold, the silver, of course the Fire Drake. We used the Hoplite gold and the Retributor armor from Citadel for some of the gold on there. And then the Satchel Brown for the bear, Fire Drake for kind of the feathers, and we still need, I would still like to go back and do some dry brushing over those areas to kind of get some highlights. We'll leave that for last. And yeah, there it is. So I don't know how well that's coming through. I want to get a better camera. So I think it's turning out okay. I'm digging it. So with that, I think we're good for today. We're going to call this session over. Again, like and subscribe to the channel. I would really appreciate that. And matter of fact, I've got a closing scene that to take a look at. Boom. That's not the closing scene, but that is. And I can do that and try to make it look semi-professional. So yeah, that's what we got going on. So yeah, like and subscribe to the channel. I would really appreciate that. If you want to contact me, there is the email address there. I answer all of my emails 100%. So there's that. If you just want to say hi, or 3D printing stuff, or miniatures, retiring overseas, if you got questions or just want to say hi, there's that. And then if you want to buy me a coffee, you can buy me coffee. There's a link in the description box, and the scrolling ticker is people who have bought me coffee, and they're awesome. And then I buy people coffee as well, so that's kind of the thing. And since we're separated over the ocean usually, yeah, that's what we ended up doing. So that's going to be it for today. Appreciate it. Everybody that watched, subscribed, like, had a good time, but I'm starving, so we're going to let you go, and we will see you on the need to wet the whistle a little bit. Much better. So we'll see you on the next video, and peace. Yeah, that's it. Okay, we're done. Yep.